So I've been researching the field of human trafficking for quite some time. And it seems that there's been this odd trend that started around 2016 to 2018 to get pornography, pornographic materials, and pornographic production as labeled as human trafficking. Now, the people advocating this, generally speaking, you can't go deep in terms of researching them. You'll ask them how it is, and they'll just say it is, and they'll do some power sloganing. I have a really good example of this of two ladies who are passionate against exploitation, especially of minors. Let me just listen to this.
What fuels sex trafficking, specifically child sex trafficking? The answer is pornography. Yes, all forms of pornography, even what is sometimes referred to as so-called ethical pornography. Pornography is fueling the sex trafficking and child sex trafficking industry.
By accepting the status quo, like Aristotle, and denying the causal relationship, like the tobacco companies, we also contribute to the slavery of 27 million people. If you still think your orgasm is worth the price being paid for it, which you're completely free to do, at least own it. Be aware. Don't be a hypocrite.
Okay, but what did they really lay down there in terms of providing any information on how these trends are linked? And that last lady, the one who did the TED Talk, honestly, she seemed to not think it was that bad. It's like, okay, just engage in this and, just have no shame or hypocrisy. Just acknowledge it. I don't get that. So I was watching the show Trigonometry, and they had a pornographic actress, Eva Lovia, who made actually a profound observation that many countries, porn is outright banned. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that doesn't mean that pornographic content doesn't make it into those countries, but we should see a trend of, if porn is responsible for human trafficking, where porn is illegal, you'd have less of a problem with human trafficking. And so I thought of this would be very interesting, and this is going to be like part one of maybe a 2 or 3 part series. So the first thing I did was note which countries banned pornography. Now, I got this from a list that is not very definitive, but what you should see is countries are ranked by our State Department and put into publication in the Trafficking in Persons report. It's the tool we have to best analyze human trafficking. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but hey, if you're a researcher like me, you got to dance with the girl that brought you. And essentially, countries are put into 4 tiers. Tier 1 means compliance with the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000. In other words, a country that's better at addressing human trafficking. Now, due to population size, like a country with 1 billion people, even if they're compliant, probably going to have more people trafficked than, say, a small, tiny island nation. But it's what are you doing about it? Then there's Tier 2, not quite Tier 1. Now, this is where things maybe get a bit complicated. There's Tier 2 watch list, and then there's Tier 3. And Tier 2 watch list means be careful or we're going to put you into Tier 3. Tier 3 often recognized as the worst. So I actually put these into a spreadsheet, and I would think that where porn was illegal, you would see nothing but Tier 1 countries, provided that there's some truth to this, with an outlier. And you can see my numbers over here. Don't be intimidated by these, but basically what this breaks down to is the fact that at face value, there's no relationship going on here. Now, in my next video, I'm going to get way further into this. But yeah, the fact that you don't even have a single Tier 1 country on the list is, to me, just remarkable. So make of that what you will.